It goes without question that this Toronto Blue Jays offseason is the most critical one in franchise history. The Blue Jays are slowly losing their identity as a serious playoff team that can shut down opposing offenses and make pitchers sweat every single at-bat. Instead, the Blue Jays have become the soft spot in a lot of other teams' schedules. What was supposed to be a talented roster has not been very successful in the last few years. Kevin Gausman says, "I'm sick of the talent talk. We've got to figure it out. We've got to do it quickly. If we want it to happen with this group, it has to happen soon. So what are we going to do?" Gausman is right. It needs to happen soon, and he asks the big question: what are we gonna do? With Vladdy and Bichette both on expiring contracts in 2025, how do you win now, but also extend the winning window for the future? What's up, guys, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. The Blue Jays are at a critical point in their club's history where they're not going to have to just make one or two moves this offseason, but they're going to have to make several moves in the management, the staff, the free agency market, the trade market, their prospect pool, if they're going to save this franchise. And unfortunately for the Toronto Blue Jays fans, they're gonna have to rely on this guy to get it done. Before we get into it though, I encourage you guys to hit that like button and subscribe to Blue Jays Today so you don't miss any critical Blue Jays news that happens this offseason. With such an important offseason ahead for the Toronto Blue Jays, they're going to need a very strong plan heading into it. And to execute this plan, you're going to need some strong leaders to drive this ship. Shai Davidi said on Blair and Barker that this does not sound like a front office that is going to have much change. And it feels more evident after each passing day that the keys to this ship are falling into the hands of Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro. Look, guys, I know that you're very upset that Ross Atkins is taking charge of this Blue Jays offseason, considering how poorly he's managed this roster in the last couple years, and frankly, I'm very uncomfortable with it too. But regardless, the Blue Jays situation remains the same. Ross Atkins is going to need to save this franchise, and we have to hope and pray that he is able to do it. Oh boy. And right now, Ross Atkins is at a crossroads, with one path being Blue Jays being back into contention, and one path being we're going back into a deep, dark rebuild for almost another decade. Let's start with the optimistic path, the one that leads the Blue Jays back to contending glory. The Blue Jays will need to extend Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to a franchise-setting record contract for at least 10 years. Once that's complete, the next moves will be about extending this window even further by going to the free agency pool and getting guys who are experienced veterans in the middle of their careers, preferably late 20s, early 30s. I'm talking about guys like Alex Bregman, Anthony Santander, Pete Alonso, Willie Adames. You get the idea. And then you got to go make a bunch of trades or free agent acquisitions for bullpen arms. I'm talking 3 to 4 bullpen guys to restore the lack of depth they've got in that pen right now. And then for the cherry on top, you go get one more starting pitcher to add to the depth of this rotation, just in case there's any injuries in 2025, because let's face it, these guys aren't going to have the perfect health like they've had in the last 2 years. And there you have it. Just like that, the Blue Jays roster is fixed, and we're once again ready to compete in the AL East. But then there's the not so optimistic path that leads this Blue Jays franchise to the pits of hell. Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is in collaboration with iGaming Ontario, so you must be 19 years or older to participate. You can also scan the QR code to make your account today. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content. And that is, we don't extend Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Ross Atkins makes little to no moves to this entire roster. And the only moves he actually does make are signing aging veterans or guys that are way past their prime on one-year deals because we got to go quote-unquote all in right now. And he doesn't patch up the bullpen, and instead we continue to dumpster dive for guys like Tommy Nance and Jose Quaz. I still don't know how to say his name. And then at the end of the offseason, Ross Atkins holds a press conference where he says, "We trust the talent," and he's seen encouraging things from these players, and he signs off never to be heard again for the entire year as the Blue Jays franchise is completely destroyed. And then Vladdy and Bo walk and sign with other teams while the Blue Jays are left with one of the worst prospect pools in baseball, and we're left rebuilding for the next decade. And I know it sounds like I'm being dramatic, but that's an actual reality. And I know it's hard to ask for that perfect offseason, but that's the reality that we've been put into, folks. This is really the only way that Ross Atkins can save the franchise right now. And it feels comical that we're relying on the guy who's turned this entire franchise into a laughingstock. But guys, you let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think the Blue Jays are going to do it, or do you think things are going to get worse before they get better? Please make sure to hit that subscribe button, and as always guys, go Jays go.